Okay, we got a very nice design here that I want to step you through. But first, let me get you oriented to this map here. The area here where my cursor is, that's the library proper. Over here where a lot of the color is in the map, this is the, the lower level of the, this is the lower level of the LRC. And over here is the upper area of the LRC. All right, so at the top of the map, this is where the A&R building would be. Over here would be the student quad area. So you got your bearings here. Okay, the design for this whole area is really centered around two key areas: the blue Math Success Center and the brown Success Center, the Language Success Center. We're also trying to create some space for the salmon area up here. This is the the Center for Teaching Excellence, and the purple area, the Student Success Center. So these are the core areas that we're trying to create. These would be new areas. The green and the yellow areas are mitigation areas. So in other words, the blue, the brown, the salmon, and the purple areas impact some other areas, and we needed to find space for those people. We found space for them in the yellow and the green areas. All right, so let's step through this map and give you a sense of what's going on here. First, there's a core challenge that we really had to deal with here when we were dealing with square footage. Dr. Lacey asked us to expand the usable square footage devoted to academic services in math, writing, reading, language, and study skills. But she also said when you do that, make sure you preserve the integrity of spaces needed by other programs that deliver services in the LRC. So nobody can get screwed here, all right? So we're going to build out these other spaces, but we need to make sure that everybody else continues to have equal or better space. I think we accomplished that, so let me step you through this. All right, let's start by looking at the brown area, the Language Success Center. The English department says they hate this color brown. Sorry, man, I couldn't change it on the map. It's of course not going to be brown, but it is on the map here. To give you kind of a sense of where we are here, I'm sure you've been up here a number of times. If you go upstairs in the LRC and you walk through these double doors here, you're going to find an open lab area, a CAI lab area. There's about 80 computers in this space and a number of different services offered in the space. Right back here is the language lab area. Over here is the writing center. This big open space that has computers in it is the CAI lab. Right over here is an English classroom, and as we pan to the left, you can see the writing center, or excuse me, the reading lab right here. All right. So this is the space that we're talking about when we look at that big brown area on the map. In this area, we are going to have services for students that need help with writing, reading, ESL, and modern languages. So if you're a student enrolled in an English class, you need help with writing, you can go to this area. If you're in a reading class, you need help with reading, you can go to this area. If you're in an ESL class, you need help with your courses, you can go to this area. But this is not exclusively for students in those programs. If you're in any course on campus that has any of these skills embedded in the curriculum, you can go there as a student, get help. So for example, if you're in a history class and you're working on a term paper, you need some help, you can go here. They will help you with the writing skills. If you are in an automotive class and you got one of those textbooks that has a lot of technical writing, you can go here for help with with the technical reading issues with regard to the reading services here. This is going to be a service for the entire campus. You'll find open lab areas where students can sit at tables, work on projects. There's technology that we're going to be incorporated into this area. We've added about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, including this patio area that is not being used at all right now. So we're going to kind of merge the outdoors with the indoors of this space. There's going to be office space for some of the faculty and staff that works in the area. There'll be a proctoring area, a central check-in desk, a workshop area, a semi-private area for the math, for the modern languages folks. It's going to be a great space. It's going to be devoted to writing, reading, ESL, and language. All right, let's talk about the Success Center downstairs, the Math Success Center. You're probably familiar with this area. Also, if you go downstairs, you go through the double doors, you're going to also find a CAI lab. This one's a little larger. It has about 120 computers. These are open access computers for all students that want to just come in. They can check their email, update their Facebook, whatever they want to do. It's not dedicated to any specific service. It's just an open lab. The space that you're looking at right here is devoted to the Independent Study Area for Mathematics. It's called the MLC. They offer proctoring and tutoring for students that are working on a semi-independent level. in several math courses. Space back here is called the Innovation Center. Right through that door is where you get to the Innovation Center. You can see the ASC in the back, and the whole area is the CAI lab. All right, that's the space we're talking about when we're talking about the Math Success Center. We've also increased the square footage devoted to math services by 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. There are lots of math services offered across campus. We've got a bunch of math services offered in this area. It's called the ASC at the moment. Several math services offered in this area called the MLC. We've got math services offered to vets, math services offered to EOPS students, to athletes. We're trying to get all the math services inside this Math Success Center. Right now, we're really focusing strongly on moving the ASC services and the MLC services into this area for some kind of shared experience for students. We're not going to be able to integrate all those services. There have to be some unique spaces for the MLC students, but we're going to have this great resources for this great Success Center for students that are enrolled in math courses, but also students that are enrolled in any single course on campus that has math embedded in the curriculum. So, for example, here, if you are a chemistry student, you have lots of math embedded in your course. If you need help with some of that math, you can come get help here. If you are an accounting student, an economics student, even a woodworking student, they deal with a lot of geometry. You can come here, brush up on your math, and we'll talk about how faculty coordinate with this, but this is the main resource for math services, like the language lab upstairs, the Brown area. We're going to have lots of open source or open tables for students to study at technology, workshop area, those same types of resources that I mentioned up in the Language Success Center. We are opening a Center for Teaching Excellence. This is where we're going to talk about not only technology training, which we've always done a good job here. We're going to take the Innovation Center, fold it into this area, but we're going to add other resources for faculty, support for SLOs, unit plans, program review, and pedagogical training. We're going to do the new teacher orientation out of this office. Lots of stuff here that we can talk about later. This presentation really doesn't go into detail on this area. We are going to be opening up a new Student Success office that's going to be much more centrally located. It's going to come right off of this bridge that runs across the top of the LRC. This should be very easy for students to find. This office will offer all kinds of academic support services for students, and it'll manage the Language Success Center, the Center for Teaching Excellence, the Math Success Center, that type of thing. But I'm very excited about this being an accessible place for students to find. Right now, my office is at the end of a catacomb. It's like impossible to find. There are faculty members that have been here 10 years. They called me on the phone and said, I couldn't find your office. They're trying to come down and find me. All right, so in the brown area and in the blue area, there's 200 computers that are open to students. You know, students just come here, they sit down at the computer, and they can start working. We are going to move those computers to other areas. We're moving into the yellow areas. Students will still have access to 200 computers. They're just going to be located in different areas. This is the ASC. This is a quiet study area that's currently located, well, that is located in the library. You're probably familiar with it already. This is the main entrance to the library, and if you go in and hang a left past the checkout desk there, or the circulation desk, you go through these double doors and you enter a room where there are a number of different study carousels. Excuse me. Study carols. Sorry. As Deb says, it'd be much more interesting if they were study carousels. This area is mainly for quiet study or semi-quiet study. In the back, or this room is going to be filled with computers. In the back, we're also going to cut a hole through this wall right here. And on the other side of that wall is an open area that's going to be used as a workshop and an open area for computers. Let me show it to you on the map. The map is, if you look at the yellow area, you can see this L shape here. This is that wall I was talking about where we're going to cut a hole in it, put a sliding glass door in there. When librarians want to use it for a workshop area, they can close the sliding glass door. When they're not using it, we can open up the sliding glass door and allow students in here for open access to computers. These green areas here are mitigation areas. So this area is currently used as a conference room. It's going to go up here. There's a room in the brown area, LC208, that houses English classes and some other classes. It's going to go here. There's a room in the salmon area that currently has English classes, counseling courses, and some assessment. It's going to go here. And this whole AV area here is going to move down a little bit. Staff development is in this area. It's going to be relocated. There's 2 or 3 other areas we're looking at in the LRC. All right, so you get a good sense of the plan here. Everything has been accounted for. Every single office, every single space that has been moved is being moved to a space that is equal or better. Let me talk about very quickly the timeline and the budget. It's going to take us about 18 months to get this whole thing done. But with that said, we can open up something. We can open up the services starting in the fall. We're not going to be able to open the whole thing until fall 2012. That's when we'll be able to finish all the construction. But the services we will be able to open in fall 2011. We're going to have a Language Success Center, a Math Success Center, a Student Success Office, and 4 new open computer areas that you can have access to. All right. Now, in terms of the budget, there's 3 possible. We're working this out right now, but there's 3 possible sources for the budget. One is the general obligation. Of course, voters approved the general obligation a few years ago, and it is restricted to capital improvements. All the things we just talked about are capital improvement related. We also may be pulling some money out of the vintage savings. Board policy restricts all of the vintage savings, which used to be called Avalon. It's the retirement center that we have on campus. The board policy restricts those funds to student success related expenditures. And of course, we could look at private funding. We have not determined where the budget funding is coming from at the moment, but those are the 3 items that are being discussed most frequently. All right, so click on one of these items. I sequenced this so the people comes most naturally after the plan, but you can click around on this, the whole thing. All you need to do is click on one of these, and it'll take you to the next presentation part. Just click. Super simple. Click on people. Click on services. Click on the context. Want to watch the intro again? Click here.